Hello friends! So in today's video I'm going to test out the new E.L.F Camo Concealer. I want to say Camo Camouflage. I don't know why. I think I want to say camouflage, but Camo Concealer. Whoa. And I'm going to try it out today because it's really big right now and I picked it up and I was in need of a new concealer anyway. Justification. So I'm gonna try it out. I'm really excited. I heard it's really matte, so I'm a little nervous about that because I have combo skin. I get like really bad dry patches, but then overall I get oily throughout the day. So anyway, I'm gonna try it out today and see how it goes, see how I like it. So I'm gonna start with primer and foundation, and I'm just gonna like speed through that and then focus on the concealer in this entire video. So gonna get my base on now. Okay, so I just finished my base and my brows, and I'm going to try the concealer now. And I've read that this is, not read, I don't read things about makeup very often, but I've seen videos about how this is pretty dry and matte, and I've heard that it's matte. So I'm gonna do one half with a beauty blender thinking that it'll add more moisture into the concealer, and then the other half with a brush and just see how those compare for myself, to see like if I like one application over the other, and also to show you. Just to remind you, I have combo skin again, so like I get crusty bits on my face, but then in my T-zone I get pretty dang oily. Like I'll get a strip right here of just like oil, so if I ever take a picture it's just like blinding in the middle of my forehead. It's kind of amusing. And I got the shade medium beige because there were only 2 colors at the Target that I went to get this. So it must be popular, and there are 18 shades total and it's $5, and you get 0.203 fluid ounces in it, and it looks like this. So just very like simple basic E.L.F packaging. It feels like a hard thick plastic, a girthy packaging I would say, and just like a normal black top. And the doe foot applicator is really thick. She thick. And I don't know if you can see this, but a lot of product is in that little divot on the doe foot. I'm also gonna work in little small sections because I heard it's matte, so I don't want to like get one section to be over dried and then others to not be. I want some like balance and cohesiveness. So I'm just gonna do one section first, and I'm hoping this color works for me because it was the only one that was even close to my shade. So I'm gonna do this side with a beauty blender. So a lot comes off on the doe foot, like I said. I just did like one little swipe and it's covered all of that on my face. It blends very well, and this color actually matches my skin tone really well. Like you can tell that it brightened my under eye a little bit, but like not too stark of a difference, which is nice. So luckily, oh shit, this side right here is only the beauty blender. Luckily this shade works for me because there were 2. One was like tan beige or something like that, but it just looked like too gray and too cool of an undertone for me. So that actually blended really well. I'm very happy with it. And it doesn't look too cakey under my eyes. I'm gonna see how it sets to see what that's like. But I'm also gonna cover up like this section here because I have quite a few zits and whatnot. But because it blends so well, I'm just gonna barely put any. And then blend that out with the beauty blender. So it's looking a little bit more cakey on like my cheek area. And I always get dry patches right here. So this is really gonna test this concealer out for me, because if it gets like hella crusty there, then I know that it's not gonna do well on my dry patches. Okay, so that's one half with the Beauty Blender. And it blended pretty well, I liked it. It blended really quickly as well, which is nice. Like, it didn't take a lot of effort, so I'm interested to see what it's like, what it's gonna be like with the brush, because that's my regular application. Like on a day-to-day basis, I use a brush for my foundation and concealer. So I hope it works well with a brush and doesn't look too cakey. So I'm just gonna do a little bit here. A lot comes off yet again in here. And I'm gonna use the Love Beauty Fully Love is the Foundation brush by IT Cosmetics. So with a brush, immediately it doesn't pick up as much product into the brush, so the concealer doesn't spread as seamlessly, if that makes sense. Like, because none of it is being soaked up into the brush like it does the Beauty Blender. It's kind of just like being packed right there, which would be really good if you want really full coverage. But even so, it blended really well with the brush. It looks nearly the same. Actually, I think in a little pieces of my skin, little pieces of my skin sounds really creepy, but little patches of my skin, it's a little bit more dry looking. And I'm gonna kind of stipple it, because I think that would cover up my blemishes a little bit better. Okay, so that's one half with, this half was with the Beauty Blender, and then this half was with a brush. And to me, it looks pretty similar. Like, it blended pretty well. And I think the color did well with my skin too. So initial thoughts are, it's fine. It's a good concealer. Like, it covers up really well. I feel like it could have done a better job in my under eyes. My under eyes still kind of look a little dark, but I don't mind that, because when it's like too bright, I just kind of get scared of myself, because I'm like, ooh, you know, does that ever happen to you guys? I don't know, or you all, I don't know how to explain that. Like, it's just like too much, like, I don't know how to explain it. Anyway, that's my explanation. Like, too much on my face. So I really like how this turned out. It blended with my my foundation really well too, which is nice. Yeah, not mad. Looks pretty crusty around my nose. So I'm going to finish my face and come back and let you know how I feel about it. Gonna powder everything, do bronzer, concealer, or sorry, bronzer, blush, whatnot, and then come back and see how the concealer did with all of those products as well. And then have that like set in a little bit more, because I've let some time pass to let it sit on my skin. But yeah, I'll come back and then let you know how I feel about it. Okay, so my whole face is done now, and when I was blending out my makeup, well, I guess it's not on my entire face. Well, it kind of is. Anyway, regardless, it blended really well with everything else that I put on my face. Like, none of my bronzer or blush went on patchy or anything. And it just like blended well with everything. So that's an upside. I barely set my under eyes. Like, I feel like if this were a dewier or oilier concealer, I would have set my under eyes more, but because it didn't seem like it needed it, I just barely set my under eyes and like the rest of my face, which is actually kind of nice because then my face will just look more and more natural throughout the day as like my oils and like my skin moves more with the makeup. So I really like that. My face looks pretty damn matte right now with the concealer and not really setting my face, so no complaints there, because like I don't mind a matte face in the beginning and then throughout the day obviously like I'll get oilier. But yeah, I really like how my makeup turned out with the concealer, and my under eyes look pretty good. They don't look cakey at all actually. I think the only place that it looks kind of cakey is like around my nose area. And a little bit here where I have this like patch of acne. But that always gets cakey, and I don't know why. Like, it always gets kind of flaky regardless of what I use. So I think that's a little unavoidable, but it doesn't look horrible with this concealer. And I like put quite a bit there. So yeah, like pretty happy with this concealer, and it's only $5, blends really well, has a nice applicator, works well with a beauty blender and a brush, and I use a brush most of the time. So that's a really good sign for me, and blended well with the rest of my makeup. So I'm a happy girl. I'm a happy woman. Thank you very much. Yeah, so I really liked it, and maybe this will be in my favorites, but we shall see. It works well with my combo skin right now. We shall see in the future how I feel about it, but I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye.